Good morning, Mr. Patil. Good morning. How you doing? How's everything? You said you were being uh, stuck with family appointments. That's okay. How are? How is everything? Are things looking good? How's your father? Just one second. Yeah. So I've sent the message to people on WhatsApp, to people. Managed to come online for short time. My daughter. Oh my God, you're married and you have kids? I thought you were very young. Has come home and now taking all the time. My father is good, thank you. So nice to hear that. I guess you can hear me. Your daughter is taking all the time. Well, that's what daughters do. Daughters do as daughters must, right? Uh, one, only one kid, 5 month old daughter. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so much. So she's come home. Where was she earlier? Do you stay? Ah, okay. All right. I hope everything is very very cute and sweet. So if you can hear me, please let me know. We will begin the show that we deserve. Our favorite show. After delivery, wife goes to mother's house. Yeah, that's I've seen that. My brother has a daughter. She's 5 years old. So I've seen parenthood from spectators' eyes, right? From a non-risk kind of a low accountability perspective. It's just they do all the hard work. I can just look at the fun. So that's my. Can we begin? Should we begin? Uh, are we ready? I guess I'm audible. Yes, perfect. So let's begin. The show that we deserve. The show that we deserve. We deserve it. It's that good. We don't take a break. It sets up everything. It sets up our mood in the morning. It informs us. It inspires us, right? Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thinker's Frequency. We're having such a good time. This is the peak of human civilization. We're working so hard, doing such good work for ourselves, our parents, our kids, our siblings, our husbands, our wives, our friends, everybody. Well, not other people's husbands and wives, I hope. And just when we thought things couldn't get any better, like they couldn't possibly get any better, well, they just did. Call it divine intervention, folks, but things just got a whole lot better. Now we have Thinker's Frequency, our daily mental workout, our daily dose of insights and analysis which don't lead to paralysis right before we punch in. So let's continue with our journey of reading between the lines things that are especially interesting and important in the world of business and finance. Let's go! But before we go, gotta follow tradition, right? You know the tradition? You know the tradition. The sweet and sacred tradition of the simultaneous sip. We'll all sip something together and it'll bring us good luck, as it always does, without fail, every day. And all you need for the simultaneous sip is a copper mug, a glass, a tank, a chalice, a stein, a canteen jug, a flask, or a vessel of any kind. Pour it with your favorite liquid. I like some hot water with black pepper in it. Today, there's some more stuff, some more herbs. And here we go. Beautiful. Let's do it again. Nice. I can feel the healing. I can feel the healing. You know what the simultaneous sip says, right? You know what it says? It says that you are not alone. It says that we are in this together. And that's such a beautiful thing to say. With that out of the way, let's begin. So, Indian IT faces flat Q2 amid sluggish global tech spending, right? While weakening rupee will cushion margins. Discretionary spends may stay muted on tariffs threat. So Q2 results are going to be out sometime, right? And they're saying that the deals are taking longer than usual to renew, right? And because of AI, essentially AI mix or the tariff scene, the rupee depreciation has helped Indian IT because they make their money in dollars. So that essentially cushions the profitability profile, right? However, the deal times are excessively longer. Earlier, the deals used to be done within a few months, like 5 months or so, but now they're taking up to 12 months, which is exactly what we had predicted, if you remember. So, this is what's going to happen. Mid market segment is still stronger than the large caps, the blue chips, which is exactly what we told you. So I quoted a book by Mr. Subrata Bagchi, right? What was that book? Was it Elephant Catchers or was it High Performance Entrepreneur? So that book said it was Elephant Catchers. Great book, by the way. Subrata Bagchi, sir, used to be the foremost writer of India as far as this entrepreneurship non-fiction genre is considered, but he has been taken over. So anyway, Elephant Catchers is a great book, and it says that whenever a market is crashing or whenever a market is declining, the big guy feels the brunt. The smaller guys, not so much. Much smaller guys, not so much. Smallest guys, not at all. They don't understand things. So an analogy which he painted was that when the big market is going bleak, right? When you go to a mandi, the small patri guy, he's a small patri guy. His life is business as usual, right? Then you go inside the mandi, you see some big sellers. They seem slightly tense, right? But they're still okay because their business 10-15%, it's okay. Then you go inside the mandi, then you go to the biggest players, right? The ones who are moving trucks and trucks, right? The biggest guys, they feel the fire the most when the market falls, even a bit, right? So the patri guy, he doesn't feel the brunt. The mid market guy, he feels a little. The big guy, he gets the brunt. He faces the fire. This is exactly what's happening with IT. The big guys, they are obviously in trouble. The mid-market guys, they are positioning price, they're positioning flexibility, speed, agility, and so on and so forth. They're trying to get some deals and they're successful at it. But overall, IT is not cool, which is exactly what we said. So if you've not bought any IT stocks, you're welcome, right? You didn't lose money. Anyway, moving on. IT contract renewals crawl on policy fears and AI-led disruption. Deal renewals drag anywhere from 9 to 15 months, stretching timelines. So this is exactly what we discussed. RBI's digital pay authentication overhaul boosts ease and safety. Layered approach improves safety far more effectively than static authentication. Indian digital payments are set for security makeover as RBI directions effective from April 2026 will make banks adopt a risk-based model to authenticate transactions. This is basically like a third factor authentication, if you can call it, right? So just like Zerodha gives you a pinch, right? That this stock is EPS negative, or this stock is facing wild swings, or this stock. So they give you essentially a risk profile of the deal before you make it. Similarly, RBI is gonna try that. They're gonna track user behavior, device behavior, location, transaction history as signals for anomalies, and it's gonna be a best practice thing. Good morning, Nishant, says Mr. Abhishek Sharma. Good morning, Mr. Sharma. So this is obviously very, very necessary. Man, there is so much of scams happening as far as the digital payment front is considered. It's just hilarious, right? If you try to sell anything on OLX, right, or Quicker or wherever, what's the first thing you ever get? Have you ever tried that, by the way? So I was selling an old amplifier, a guitar amplifier, right? And as soon as I put it on, the first thing that I got was a guy who was trying to essentially, he said he's gonna buy it. And he said, I just want to book it. So take my money and don't sell it to anybody else. Delist your listing. And I'm like, okay, okay. And then he said, I'm gonna send you money. And I'm said, okay, okay. And then he said, the usual, you send me 1 rupee, I'll send you 2 rupee. And I said, okay. I said, please send me 10 rupees. So I'll send you 10 rupees. So I sent him 10 rupees. He sent me 20 rupees. So the next step is that he asks me for, let's say, 2,500 or say 5,000, and then he pays me 10,000. That's what he claims. And that's when I send a line drawing of a human penis, right? And that's when I take the $10 and go home. So this is very weird, but this is what happens. So a lot of OLX basically, is they're just scam transactions, and it's just unbelievable what these people do. So a lot of scams. Now RBI is basically trying to get into the whole digital authentication play. Moving on. JSW has bagged 575 crore from SBI, right? SBI Principal, AM, JSW Steel and others. So JSW1 is the B2B e-commerce platform for steel to cement conglomerate. That is JSW. It's nice, it's cool. Right, this particular platform is kicking it, right? It's valued at about $1 billion. So JSW is kicking it. The whole group is on fire, as we talked about many times, so we're not going to repeat ourselves. Moving on. Elon Musk, Mr. Musk has started something called Grokkipedia, right? It's going to be out in 2 months. Grokkipedia is an answer to Wikipedia. Now, for people who don't know, Wikipedia has a lot of bias, left liberal bias, essentially. It's biased against Jews, it's biased against Hindus. So you're going to see a lot of, conflicted reports. There's a meme about Wikipedia that there's one person, just one person, by the way, who looks like a meme character. He's written like 80% of all the stuff that is on Wikipedia. Like, not kidding. It's not 80%. If it's not 80%, it's about majority of it. Just one person who has written most of what Wikipedia is. And a lot of Wikipedia's contributors are essentially anonymous and so on. So there's a lot of problems with Wikipedia per political bias. So Mr. Musk is trying to solve that political bias problem because Wikipedia is the source of knowledge, right? And when Wikipedia was trying to raise money, Mr. Elon Musk had said that I'll give you $1 billion if you change your name to Dickipedia. Well, this is not me. I'm not trying to, say dirty words, but he actually said that I'll give you $1 billion if you change the name to Dickipedia, because you're a woke platform and who's dishonest, intellectually dishonest, and you're basically peddling lies and bias, right? So that's Wikipedia. Mr. Larry Sanger. So Wikipedia was founded by Mr. Jimmy Wales and Mr. Larry Sangers. So this is not the first time Wikipedia has courted controversy. The first controversy around Wikipedia was when Mr. Jimmy Wales was trying to get Mr. Larry Sanger's name out as the founder of Wikipedia, as the co-founder of Wikipedia. So he's just trying to change articles that sort of deleted his name, but he couldn't do it because, the thing was still open source. So the wiki thing, it didn't let him. Now, Mr. Larry Sangers, has come forward. He had an interview with Tucker Carlson, where he detailed all the ways where Wikipedia is absolutely biased and dishonest, intellectually and so on. So Wikipedia has fallen out of flavor, which is, I don't know how to take it, but yeah. There is a clear bias problem as far as Wikipedia is considered if you know how to read these things. So, Grokkipedia is going to be out sometime soon. And he says it's going to be a truth-seeking thing. And it's going to help the AI, the Grok AI, to be truth-seeking. Because that's what he says is most important for the AI. If it's truth-seeking, it's good. So, that's Mr. Musk. It'll analyze sources like Wikipedia for flagging falsehoods, correcting half truths, and adding missing contexts. Right? So that's very very interesting in a lot of ways. So that's what's going on with Grokkipedia. Urban Company is eyeing foray into ACs, in-house company Native. Urban Company has a brand called Native, which has water purifiers and so on. Now they're going to into ACs. They've talked to some contract manufacturers, component makers to assemble the products locally. So they're going to have their own AC brand. These days, people will just use AI whenever they need good amount of information on anything. And that's exactly what Mr. Musk is counting on. Because AI is trained on data. So if this is in context to the Wikipedia thing, if the data itself is wrong or it's falsified or it's half truth or lies by omission or intellectually dishonest, the AI will be as well. So that's why he says to build a truth seeking AI, he will need a truthful source of information, which is why he wanted to change Wikipedia to Dikipedia. And now starting Grokkipedia, right? Moving on, so what we were talking about was Urban Company. So Urban Company is going into ACs, which is a very good move considering Urban Company has a lot of experience of repairing ACs. So they have a very, very good intelligence as far as their models are considered, their fundamental life is considered, and so on and so forth. They got very, very nice intelligence. And what people don't realize about Urban Company is that Urban Company has its own sales force. So why do things sell, right? D2C is a lie, right? I mean, saying it for exaggeration, but D2C companies make revenues, not profits. Their profitability profile is ruined by their dependence on digital media platforms like Meta, Google, and everything, right? Urban Company has a sales force. So they have like a proper 50,000 people sales force. Now, these people like Urban Company, unlike other gig workers, right? They don't hate Urban Company like Ola drivers hate Ola, Uber drivers hate Uber, and so on and so forth. These people appreciate Urban Company, and Urban Company has all the right reasons to train these people to become a new age sales force. So whenever they're going to repair ACs, they could be talking about how Native won't have such problems and so on and so forth, right? And they could earn commissions. So this could be like an exponential cliff, and they won't have to be dependent on all the tech platforms of the West, right? So that's what people don't realize about Urban Company. Mr. Abhishek Sharma says Urban Company has already figured out after sales service game, so if they have a good product, then it could be a hit. So that's very right. Now I have I don't know, I should reveal it right now, so I won't. Let's keep it for later. Moving on. Freed from RMG shadow, exports companies seek rules, SOPs to up game. Esports companies. RMG is dead, real money betting. Let's not call it gaming. So that's dead. Now esports are alive. Now people are saying that you just set the rules, regulations, incentives to make this industry fly. Because gaming, we've talked about gaming. You remember gaming? Gaming is bigger than Bollywood. Overall, globally, gaming is bigger than film industry and music industry put together. If you put a film and music industry together, I guess gaming will be double of it, right? If not more. So I'm not clear with the exact. Now I don't remember it, but I guess. Let me guess. If Hollywood music industry and film industry is some $80 billion, gaming was about $190 billion. Am I right? So gaming industry versus film industry revenue. Okay. Almost double the film industry music. So I was right. Just let me check the numbers. 184 billion. So I was 100% right. Sorry for doubting myself. So India, Bollywood is not much of a cultural influence, right? It's a piece of shit, unfortunately. And gaming could be something different. So games come from a very different class of people, right? The people who make games are very different from people who actually make movies, right? So this is an absolutely different fraternity. Games like Japanese, if you look at the Japanese culture export, right? Japanese make beautiful movies. I've talked a lot about that. I love Japanese cinema a lot, right? But Japanese cultural influences anime, manga, games, and so on and so forth, right? So that is the cultural export that Japan has. India also has an incredible amount of potential to make games, to export culture, because we have our history, right? And very interesting play. That's what Mr. Amish Tripathi also said, the writer of Immortals of Maluha. So let's see what happens there, right? Moving on. Number of players are, of course, a lot. Esports as an industry is great. So we discussed the green prospects of actually creating an esports business. So if you are interested in entrepreneurship, if this is an industry you could evaluate. It's pretty cool. Moving on. A lot of action geopolitically. We're not going to talk about it because there's not much update in the scene which we discussed yesterday. Israel Hamas scene, Russia Ukraine. OPEC, by the way, is looking at a price hike, production hike in November. OPEC, Saudi Arabia had been pulling back from the production, but they're going to be raising the production because despite all the production, everything, the prices hadn't softened. So now you might see, since Saudi Arabia is, they are basically, oil weakening has started to show. So they're going to boost productions. With Saudi Arabia's production input, we might just see something. So even with all the robust production of the past, the prices didn't budge because it was suspected that China was essentially eating all the oil supplies. Well, that still stays, but Saudi Arabia is going to be, hiking the production. Would it be good news for India? It's always good news for India if the crude supply or the oil supply essentially takes up, because India imports a lot of oil. India is an import dependent economy, unfortunately. And since we import so much of oil, our forex gets strained, our rupee falls, our import bill rises, the GDP gets hit, and so on and so forth. If production hikes and oil prices overall start tapering down, even though they've been very benign for a pretty long time, like $69 and stuff, 67. So if they stay low or go lower, it's always a good news for the country. Moving on. New Delhi is taking stock of Tata tensions. We've talked a lot about Tata tensions. Tata Trusts, has a bunch of members and trustees and so on and so forth. Now, Shapurji Palanji Group has a problem, right? They want Tatas to get listed so that their mounting debt could be serviced, because if Tata Sons gets listed, they'll be able to pay their debt in a very easy way, right? However, Tatas don't want to list. The Tata Sons don't want to get listed. It's India's most valuable empire, $150 billion, 150 years old, right? Is it $250 billion? Just let me check the numbers, guys. It should be $250 billion, right? How big is Tata? $180 billion. So $180 billion group. So they don't want to get listed. The Tata Sons don't want to get listed. They want to stay as a trust, because listing, it provides a lot of hassle. A lot of good companies, a lot of big companies are smart enough to not list, because public companies get a lot of scrutiny. You have to have a lot of compliance overload, regulatory overload, quarterly pressures, and so on and so forth. The trusts don't want to list, but they have pressures. So the government has to intervene at that scale. So ministers are meeting Tata Group to see what they can do about the situation. It was speculated that after Ratan Tata and Cyrus Mistry, the feud between groups would resolve, but didn't happen, I guess. It was resolved to a larger degree, but after he passed away, those things. So trustees stand divided over a key lever of control trusts have over Tata Sons. After the death of long-serving group patriarch, right, Mr. Tata. Mr. Ratan Tata, rest in peace. So yeah, I mean, it was solved per se because the Palanjis were out, right? Cyrus Mistry lost grip, and so on and so forth. So when that situation got over, Mr. Ratan Tata said that that has been handled, like a pretty savage statement. But yeah, things get complicated, right? Moving on. A former financier and deal whiz of ArcelorMittal. ArcelorMittal is Lakshmi Narayan Mittal and Arcelor. Lakshmi Narayan Mittal, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan Mittal actually bought Arcelor back in, when did that happen? 2006. Lakshmi Narayan Mittal is not related to me, if that needed any clarification. But yeah, so he is a pretty big dealer, right? A rainmaker, so to speak. Mr. Sudhir Maheshwari, he's bought a new plant for 2000 crores, also raising $1 billion fund. So he's one of the finance whiz, helped the company go public in 1997 and also helped the deal with in 2006. So he's getting into a met coke unit, right? Moving on. Dhan is has raised $120 million, turns unicorn. Dhan is another broking platform after Zerodha and Grow. It has 7 million active traders accounts essentially, right? Market share right after Zerodha. So Grow has the highest number of 12 million active traders. After that there is Zerodha 7.2, and then there's Dhan 7.0. So after Zerodha, Zerodha's indisputable success as a company, a lot of VC companies started flooding in. A lot of old companies also started flooding in, like Angel Broking came up with Angel One. Reliance is also entering into the broking business because there's so much of money in the play. Dhan is also one of the beneficiaries of the wave. Of the wave. Moving on. So there's a news about Mr. Abhishek Sharma says, after Grow and Zerodha, it didn't seem like there is space for another player. No. There's a lot of players. So it's not just Grow and Zerodha. There's Angel Broking, Angel One. Then there's Kotak Securities, Kotak Product. Every banking player is also getting into broking. So they are also building their platforms. There's a lot of scope. A lot of scope. Right now, the country has 10 crore demat accounts, right? India. They have scope to go to like 50, 60 crores. So there's space for many, many players. That's why Reliance is entering into it, right? And the business is pretty straightforward. I mean, you need to get people and then they start making trades. And on each trade, you make a cut. And the more they trade, right, the more money you make. So it's very, very simple. Moving on. A lot of political chit chat. Mr. Sumant Kumar says 5 Paisa, HDFC Sky, and so on. Yeah. So there's a company called Bioteek. Miss Jain has founded it. Miss Vinita Jain. She founded the company in 1992. Bioteek. She's looking to take the company public. A lot of private equity players were looking at the company, right? Now she says, we don't want private equity players, we go public. She's gonna raise 300 million at a $3 billion valuation. She says that Ayurveda-based science or Ayurveda-based beauty products and so on and so forth, they have a growing market and they have a premium kind of a play which not anybody else has. So that's her pitch, and the company has been successful. She says that a lot of companies from the West are also trying to get into that, and she's right. And $3 billion. I didn't know about Bioteek, but then I don't have anything to do with the beauty segment, so I'm not the customer. But yeah, $3 billion. That's awesome. That's pretty good. Smartphone loan default surge amid push from premium upgrades. So you remember we talked about how smartphone sales have not grown, right? 150 million, 150 million, 148, 150 million, and so on. So from 3 years, sales have not been growing in the country. And what has happened is that to push smartphone sales, a lot of loans were being taken, and those loans have started defaulting. So the ideal provision range is about 2.1%, and that's basically going up to 2.7 and 2.9%. So you remember this is an ongoing story where we talked about how RBI and everybody, I mean the banks were looking at restricting people by PIN codes to give them loans, right? Restricting people with multiple loans running and so on and so forth. They were talking about not making the loan facility available to a particular set of retailers. Now, this, despite all that, value is not up, consumer durable loans, and delinquency rate is troubling. 2.15, 2.16, 1.35, and so on and so forth. So, this is not good news at all. This is very, very bad news. But the numbers are not that troubling as of now. I mean, it's not like shit has hit the fan. It's trouble, but it looks like it can be nipped in the bud, so to speak. Moving on, your dream home in Dubai could become a reality. Now, I did not know until this moment, until today morning, that Indians were buying homes in Dubai, right? So developers are tapping investors from tier 1, tier 2 cities in India by offering affordable entry points, transparent rules, and attractive payment plans. So Indians are apparently buying a lot of homes in Dubai, and the people say, the dealers, the over the last 5 years, property prices in India have risen a lot, right? Dubai offers great properties at a much, relatively speaking, better rates. And they say that people who used to be earlier coming to buy homes in Dubai, they used to be old rich from Delhi or Mumbai, old rich, old money. But now they say these people are 35-year-old techies and some doctors and so on and so forth, which is amazing. I did not know that. I did not know that Dubai's residential properties had Indians buying him. Like, not it was until now I did not know that. But apparently they're making it even easier. Danube provides flexible 1% monthly payment plans that allow buyers to own a property without taking heavy loans. Right now, it's come up with a 0.5% payment plan, monthly payment plan. And I'm like, wow, nice, man. Navi Mumbai Airport is set for takeoff. The 20,000 crore project is on. We've talked a lot about this, right? So we won't say it again. Adani's developed this, and they were looking at some sort of favorable tariff position for this airport. Well, they got it. I mean, there's some comment. How's UC water purifier performing? Says Mr. Ravi Gupta. It's good. It's good. Over 100 crores in sales, right? Natives. FY25. Danube Properties had ads during IPL. Oh, okay. Mr. Bhandegar. Well, I don't watch cricket, so thank you so much. Danube Properties had ads during IPL. Well, that explains. That explains. So, airport will handle 12 planes an hour, likely to relieve Mumbai's capacity issue. They're going to be ferrying 20 million customers per annum with a single terminal and runway, right? And so on and so forth. So their demand will be exhausted by 2027, and then they'll be looking at even going even further, which is awesome. Moving on. DGCA, the Directorate General for the airline thing, it's monitoring airfares to curb festive price surges. Now, this is why airlines don't make money, because it's so highly regulated. If they raise the prices, DGCA comes to bite their butt, right? Which is bad news for the country, for the companies, but good news for the country, because people will be able to afford airfares, right? And they're also asking to check Boeing 787, all of them, rigorously. So they're talking about checking Boeing 787s, which shouldn't be surprising, right? Boeing is a piece of shit. These people are criminals. Moving on, which is surprising because Boeing was listed as a great company, in good to great, right? As a visionary company, 100 years old, and so on and so forth. Great company, but look what happened to it. All sorts of their whistleblowers got mysteriously died. One of them by suicide, one of them got hit by an accident. I don't know, by a disease or something. So you know when whistleblowers start dying, right? What that means. Anyway, moving on. RBI may let real estate tap offshore loans in a bid to shore up dollar flows. So, RBI is allowing external commercial borrowings in real estate. Now, this wasn't the case. This isn't normal. This isn't usual. But this is happening. Why? Because of a lot of factors, right? Uh, I mean, we don't have a lot of FDI coming in. FPI is not happening as much as we'd like. Secondly, real estate is a very, very important play for the country, because if real estate infrastructure segment gets a lot of money, gets some cash, it's always healthy, right? Then of course, because we are not getting a lot of FDI and FPI and everything, the rupee is in trouble, right? So that bit is also a play. Well, that's not directly related, but in a way. Now, ECB's maybe quickest way to raise inflow of dollars by amid selling by foreign investors. So foreign investors have been selling, as I told you. Now, for 30 years, RBI has been avoiding this, right? RBI deals with opening gates to external commercial borrowings. There was a 1997 Asian crisis that stemmed from foreign currency debt in properties, right? And since then, RBI has been very careful. So Thailand, Indonesia, these Asian countries essentially defaulted on a lot of debts because of real estate, play. So for 30 years, RBI had not allowed this. But now RBI is going forward because overall the structure looks good. So you know why they are allowing external commercial borrowings in real estate? Because a lot of proper institutional players are entering into the real estate business. So if you look at Hero Realty, earlier real estate was mostly a shady business, right? A lot of shady people, all sorts of ways. But RERA and the other play has basically stabilized the market, has added some market depth like REITs and so on and so forth, in which now they're allowing external commercial borrowing into direct real estate play, even for small product. With FDI, with low entry barrier, is allowed in smaller projects. ECBs are currently permitted only in large projects like industrial parks, SEZs. Draft policy changes this. ECB shall not be used for real estate business and construction of farmhouses, permitted for FDI. Right? So this will change. So this is awesome. Like if trading and so on and so forth will be using a lot of this, it's gonna help. It's gonna help everybody. So that's what happens. Right? Purchase of land for construction. Yeah. Moving on. I also didn't know that Indians are looking at ways to have fun, and some of the ways to have fun are they're having runners, raves, and what Japanese kintsugi works. So kintsugi is a Japanese concept where if a vessel breaks, right, you repair it with gold, you fix it with gold. So if it breaks, you just fix it again, you break it, you join it together with gold. So the thing looks even prettier after it breaks, So it's a philosophical concept that sometimes things break and they get better. So that's kintsugi. So apparently Indians are doing a lot of kintsugi, workshops, divorce bashes, fake wedding parties, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, chal kya raha hai yaar is desh mein? Fake wedding parties, divorce bashes, runners, raves. I don't know, man. Too much of an introvert to know about all of these things. Thank God I read. Did you know about this? Have you ever been to a fake divorce party or a fake wedding ceremony, or I don't know. Have you ever been to something like that? Whoa. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. U.S. homeowners brace for impact on kitchen tariffs. So U.S. has some tariff problems, and homeowners are looking at tariffs to be hurting the kitchen supplies, the Italian oak, and so on and so forth, the IKEAs and so on and so forth. So they're saying that the impact might not be in prices but availability. So a lot of people So a lot of people say that tariffs will hurt prices, right? They'll lead to inflation and so on. Uh, Nothing like that happened. You know why, right? You know why? Because of price elasticity, price responsiveness, price inelasticity. You think that tariffs, because tariffs are exerted, right? Companies will just raise the prices, but that's not what happens. Because if you raise the prices, the thing just goes out of business, right? Nobody buys it anymore. So all the shocks are absorbed at different stages, because at the end of the day, you cannot charge the customer like 20% higher or something, because the market responds, right? So Trump was right. Anyway, Mr. Tiwari says not that rich for fake marriage parties. But Mr. Ashutosh Bhandekar is probably rich enough. He's been to a fake wedding. What is a fake wedding? I mean, do they book a place, a proper place, and then they have like a Hindu ceremony? They get a pandit ji or something who what happens? I mean, exactly. Uh, you know, then they have like a proper party. They call parents as well. I mean, it's a foodie paradise. Oh, so it's basically a buffet kind of a situation. It's just food. That's what. So why do they call it a wedding? I mean, uh, uh, do do a couple? Does a couple get, you know, felicitated in a special way? What is it, Mr. Bhandekar? Basically for food and events happening. Okay. Anyway, so this is where I feel out of place. So moving on, PVR INOS expects strong festive season, clocks 50% occupancy during Dashera. So well, uh, now this comes to I watched Homebound, Mr. Tiwari. I yesterday I went to my throat is out. On weekends I usually go for band practice, but my throat was out, so I went to watch Homebound. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it with passion. I found it despicable. To me, I mean, it was just Hindus are bad, Muslims are victims, India is a shithole kind of a routine, the usual chastising of an entire community. I mean, it was so pathetically woke for me, right? That Hindus are basically looking at Muslims, asking for ID cards, and not just Muslims, they're also demonizing the lower castes and so on and so forth. They're basically evil, right? So there was a beautiful afternoon, Sunday afternoon. The breeze was cool. There was warmth of the sun, right? The roads were nice. The trees had engulfed the roads. The weather was great. I went to the theater, uh, and I basically paid some $560 to learn that my religion is evil, right? That was what the movie did for me. So these assholes, and no wonder this movie was so praised internationally. Uh, it's just, it's just like people said Bengal Files was propaganda. Well, of course, Bengal Files was propaganda, but nobody said Homebound was propaganda. But it was. It was just Bengal Files in the opposite direction. But the problem with Homebound was that it was propaganda in a very vicious, cunning, subtle way, right? So it was seeding the idea of a pretty big religious and communal discord, but disguised as an art project. Bengal Files wasn't that subtle, right? So it was direct. when you get direct with propaganda, it doesn't work. But this kind of propaganda works. So I hated the movie. Uh, like Bengal Files too. Well, that's okay. But Homebound, just like, I hated the movie. Sorry, Mr. Tiwari. I was surprised that you liked it. Since you said, I was like, okay, I'll go. But no. I was very disappointed with Neeraj Gaiwan. But he makes this kind of stuff lately. I loved Masan, by the way. Masan is one of the finest Indian movies ever, right? It's a beautiful movie. Aankho Dekhi, Masan, Drishyam Films, extraordinary movie. Like Masan is just a masterpiece in every way. So I was hoping for something like that, but it was what it was. Anyway, so Bollywood is in trouble. Not just this, Bollywood is now looking at biopics of old celebrity stars, Meena Kumari, Madhubala, and so on and so forth. Right? So that is what Bollywood is looking. Why are they looking at biopics? Because they think biopics have a low marketing opportunity. So since Meena Kumari is such a legend, since all of these people, Kishore Kumar is such a legend, and so on and so forth, they believe that if they make biopics on these people, they'll be able to successfully, do it. But the problem is those biopics will never be good, because in India you can't make an honest biopic, right? The only good biopic in India perhaps was what? Pan Singh Tomar, beautiful, right? Or Scam 1992, which was extraordinary, right? So these two projects aside, you don't have a lot of good biopics in India, because they just, paint a different, unrealistic kind of a picture, holier than thou or whatever. They can't do grey. They can't do grey. Anyway, moving on. Guru. Well, I haven't watched it. Broader labor survey on cards to capture more data on skilling. So, Ministry of Startups and MOSPI and basically Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship are talking about more data on skilling, which is obviously the skilling data is a growing concern, right? Skilling as an industry is a growing concern for the country. So country is actually calibrating its approach in making sure that skilling sees a lot of positive action, right? So that's what's happening, and they're basically looking at more data in that direction, which should not be surprising. Speaking of some data points, China says that Mr. Liu Zhong, director of Center of International Finance Studies, Beijing, he says that China can import more from India if India is more open to China. So what he says is some numbers. China imports some $14 billion in FY25 from India. India's exports to China fell 14% to 14 billion in FY25, right, from 16 billion in FY24, while imports grew 11% to $113 billion. So India imported $113 billion worth of stuff from China, exported 14 billion, down from 16 billion. So it was 16 billion, somewhat 16 billion in FY24, down to 14 billion in FY25. The exports grew 11% to 113 billion. So they must be at 100 billion approximately, right? 101 billion, from 101 to 113. China says that it's looking at, consumption, boosting consumption, as it wants to be a consumption dependent economy now. It's majorly an export dependent economy. Only 30 to 40% of its economy comes from consumption. The GDP contribution of consumption, domestic consumption in China is pretty low. It's 30 to 40%. India is 60 to 70%. US is 70%. So about 70%. So China says that we're going to boost domestic consumption and we will eventually win, right? It says that India grew 6.5%, China grew 5.5%, which is not which is sustainable. China's growth at 5% at a 17 trillion scale should be heralded as something extraordinary, right? At a scale of $17 trillion, if they're able to add 5%, right? That's basically $850 billion. 9 billion. They basically adding almost $1 trillion to their GDP. When India is a $4 trillion economy. So it's no small feat, right? Moving on. India Qatar FTA likely to happen soon. Vedanta is looking to invest 13,000 crore to ramp up an aluminium facility. Right? Has over 50% share in the domestic market. It wants to scale that effort. Vedanta had a lot of debt issues. It got a short from who shorted Vedanta Group? Do you remember the short company which tried to kill Vedanta, like Hindenburg? I don't even remember their names. Viceroy. They were Viceroy. So Viceroy tried to short Vedanta. Didn't work out for them at all. The company looks like it's gonna service its debts or refinance its debt comfortably. Viceroy, Mr. Sumant Kumar, you're right. Sustaining above 25,000 may unlock fresh upside for Nifty. Mr. Tiwari yesterday was talking about why Indian markets are looking bad. Well, Indian markets have been looking a bit, lackadaisical, because FPIs believe Indian markets are going to go downhill before any U-turn. So FPIs, futures surged to record levels, reinforcing their sustained selling, right? Bullish bets were just at an all-time low of 6.7%. Long-short ratio. Ratio had made a lifetime low of 5.98%, and it's still low. So FPIs are not bullish on the Indian stocks. FPIs think that Indian equities are expensive valuation as compared to other economies. A lot of problems as far as that place considered. Large short positions. It says the earnings need to improve in order for the markets to be fairly priced, in their opinion. So I don't remember the Indian equities net price to earnings, but it was not as high, but it was pretty high. So it was above 20 or something when Chinese market was at about 12, if I remember correctly. But overall, Indian equities are not very highly priced because the Buffett indicator, it's at 1.33, which is not bad at all. 1.33 is slightly over, premiumized, but not really. US has a Buffett indicator of about 2. So US markets are more overvalued according to the Buffett indicator. But still, FPIs believe that this is going to be bad, right? Bitcoin hits high, 125. Indian units of foreign companies are getting valued higher than foreign companies themselves. The Indian units of, let's say, LG's Indian unit is basically, it's higher valuation than the parent. Maruti Suzuki, it's almost at where Suzuki is, right? It's basically higher than Suzuki. Indian which looks at a revenue of 24,000 crore, is demanding a price to earnings of 38, commanding compared with its Korean parent of 14. So Indian unit has a price to earnings of 38 when its parent of 82,000 crores has a price to earnings of 14. Now, why would that not be the case? Because the parent has less room to grow. Indian unit probably has more room to grow, right? But yeah, even then, nothing justifies this sort of. It's hard to justify. I mean, it sure does, but it's hard to justify this premiumization. Why does the Indian unit get the premium valuation? Because of more growth. So nobody is growing, right? As much as India. India is the largest, fastest growing major economy. So people think that this particular thing is gonna really work out. and the domestic consumption is looking at some sort of boost, right? That's what everybody's hoping for, which is the reason why all these companies, not just LG, 12 such companies, Unilever, Suzuki Motors, and so on and so forth. Hindustan Unilever trades at a PE of 56 compared with 17.3 of the parent. Nestle 70 compared for 17 of the parent, right? And so on and so forth. So just imagine, very expensive. But Unilever globally doesn't have much room to grow. Even though Hindustan Unilever also doesn't have so much room to grow. But revenue contribution, so that's what we talked about. So LG had like 24,000 crores in India, the revenue, right? Clocked the revenue, and the overall parent was 82,000 crores. So almost more than 1/4, right? 1/3 of their revenue is coming from India. But the valuation wise, they're equal, right? So that's what's happening. That's why FPIs think that they need to sell Indian equities, right? But Indian market is standing on the shoulders of Indian retail participation. It's not FPIs. If it were on FPIs, Indian markets would have been dead already, right? It's the retail guys who have been supporting the Indian market, the domestic players. Speaking of the market, NSE has trimmed the lot for Nifty and Bank Nifty from 75 to 65, from 35 to 30 or something. So now a lot which earlier used to cost 2 lakhs, now it's going to cost 1.7 lakhs to increase broader participation. Moving on. Central bank active in overseas market to keep the rupee stable. So rupee has been falling off the cliff, which is good news for exporters, but bad news for everybody else. And since India doesn't have much of export going on a net level, it is bad news. So RBI is enhanced its intervention in the offshore non-deliverable forwards market, NDF it's called, non-deliverable forwards market, right? Short positions in up to 1 month NDF increased to $5.8 billion. An NDF is a type of forwards contract in the future exchange market, foreign exchange market, foreign forex market, in which settlement is done in cash rather than delivering the underlying currency on settlements. So you can settle in cash instead of paying in underlying dollars. So if you don't pay in dollars, you pay in rupees, right? The supply of rupees shrinks, rupee can go higher. So that's what they are hoping for. No actual exchange of currencies happen, right? Instead, the contract is traded freely convertible currency like the rupee, based on defense bit. I'm sorry, I said something very opposite. So the contract is settled in a freely convertible currency like the US dollars, based on difference between the agreed NDF rates. So instead of, if you pay in rupee, of course it's going to be opposite. But if you pay in dollars, if you give dollars away, right, the dollar supply will go up, so dollars will go down and rupee will strengthen. So there's another thing, right? Currency swap. So how do you fix the currency problem? You fix the currency problem. Let's say Indian rupee is going up, right? So you buy the rupees from the market, right? And you buy the rupees from the market and sell dollars, right? That's one way. So this is in a way something in that direction. So moving on, NDF market interventions in September. We may slow down, but it basically helps. So RBI allowed many of these positions to mature, taking advantage of a relatively stable rupee. However, renewed depreciation made fresh intervention possible. So RBI is going to intervene to make sure that the rupee doesn't fall like 90 rupees. Dollar doesn't grow up to 90 rupees or something, because that's going to hit a very big psychological trouble situation. So that's what the government is trying to do. RBI is trying to do. The NDF, right? A futures forward contract where things are settled in a freely convertible currency like dollars based on difference between NDF rate and actual spot exchange rate. Moving on. Bank lending grows, but appetite remains muted. Growth modest in Q2. Analysts expect festive season and GST rate cuts to fuel Q3 demand. This is exactly what we talked about. Q2 was supposed to grow. So you remember? You remember, guys, the old viewers of Thinkers Frequency would remember we talked about how these particular set of months till September are going to see some sort of rebound, and the last October, November, December, that quarter is going to grow. So lending has grown, and now it's going to grow even further. So moving on. Maharashtra's GCC policy set to boost office markets. They're looking at Mumbai, Pune, Thane, Nashik, Nagpur, and so on and so forth. The Mumbai metropolitan region. I hope less goes to Mumbai, more goes to places like Nagpur and Nasik and so on and so forth. You know why, right? We've talked about why the houses, the GCCs need to go to tier 2 markets to avoid the Malthusian trap. Moving on, housing prices rise in Delhi, highest rise at 24% in July-September period. Let's get markets getting heated. That's why Indians are buying homes in Dubai, right? It's hilarious. Moving on. Russia to remain India's #1 crude supplier. Right? That shouldn't surprise anybody. 34% share. Moving on. Maharashtra has launched Enigma inspired by Shark Tank. A pilot is underway in Jalgaon district to bring founders and investors on a common platform, which is great, right? More of such things can be utilized to improve grassroots entrepreneurship. Shark Tank is more for show, right? 50% deals don't materialize, even globally. So these things will essentially lead to more grassroots participation. Cough syrup issue. Health Ministry directs rational use of medication. Well, we've talked a lot about Indian pharma and how the government is cracking down on bad manufacturing practices and the bad news that it's bringing to the nation, right? A lot of kids died in Africa. Now a lot of people have died in Rajasthan, right? So government is issuing a lot of warnings to kids to not have, heavy cough syrups, and also the manufacturers to update their quality standards. Will anything happen? Speaking of will anything happen, you remember Mr. Atul Subhash case, right? That judge who he directly mentioned as the cause of his death, she's been promoted. Also, Mr. Praveen Ganeshan's Wintrack case, the social media furor has died down. So nothing happens cases wise, but if you keep attacking the prestige, something might happen. But as of now, that's what's going on with these two things, right? With that, we come to the end of the 133rd episode of Thinkers Frequency, our daily mental workout, our daily dose of insights and analysis, which don't lead to paralysis. Right before we punch in, it's 9:12. We're gonna punch in anytime soon. I wish you a beautiful day personally and professionally. I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time, hopefully. I need to thank Mr. Patil, Mr. Abhishek Sharma, Mr. Sumant Kumar, Mr. Ashutosh Bhandekar, Mr. Tushar Tiwari, Mr. Ravi Kumar Gupta on LinkedIn, and everybody else who joined. Hope you had fun. Hope it added some value to you. It definitely added a lot of value to me. I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun, as I always do. So thank you. Mr. Abhishek Sharma says, thank you for your time. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Please take care. Bye-bye.